The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And what you are is a signal you don't even realize you're radiating. Here's the paradox. The more desperately you try to manifest something, the more the universe drifts away, not as punishment but because the message becomes unclear. It can't translate conflicting energy. And that's the trap most people fall into. You think you're asking with precision, but you're not. You're sending out vibrations of fear, of lack, of emotional hunger, and expecting abundance to show up anyway. Let me tell you a short story. A woman stands on a cliff with a flare gun in her hand. She wants to be rescued, so she shoots the flare high into the sky. But as the smoke rises, a sudden gust of wind twists the signal. What was once a clean message turns into a smeared trail across the clouds. The rescue helicopter above notices something, but it isn't sure what. Is it danger? Is it celebration? Is it an accident? So they fly past. That's what happens every time you send out a flare from a storm inside you. You crave clarity, but your frequency becomes distortion. And the universe, just like that helicopter, cannot respond to what it can't interpret. But that isn't the real issue. The real issue is that no one taught you the actual rules. They told you to stay positive, to visualize, to ask and you shall receive. But they never explained what kind of asking you were doing. They didn't tell you that your request isn't verbal. It's vibrational. And vibrations don't pretend. You can say, "I'm abundant," 1,000 times a day. But if your body is vibrating with fear, if your nervous system is looping doubt and your heart is tight with anxiety, then you are not calling in abundance. You are embodying scarcity, and embodiment always outweighs intention. This is where most manifestations collapse. They follow the steps. They make the vision board. They journal. They meditate. But nothing shifts. Or worse, the opposite unfolds. Why? Because their frequency is divided. One part wants the desire, the other part can't believe it's real. And that internal conflict becomes an unreadable transmission. The universe, an intelligent, precise vibrational field, receives only one type of instruction: energetic coherence. Anything less becomes static, like a radio station trying to play two tracks at the same time. You hear noise, not music. Now pause here and ask yourself this. What are you truly broadcasting right now? Not what you're saying, not what you're writing in your manifestation journal, but what your body is being. Are you relaxed or tight, open or guarded, trusting or quietly doubtful? Because the field isn't listening to your mind, it's listening to your state. And this is where things become quantum. In quantum physics, there's a principle known as superposition. It says a particle exists in every possible state until it is observed. It is everywhere and nowhere until awareness collapses it into form. Now apply that to your life. Your desire, the job, the love, the healing, the abundance, already exists in potential. It's real. It's floating in the infinite field of possibilities, but it's waiting to be collapsed into your reality. And the only force capable of collapsing it is the frequency of your observation. But here's the twist. If you observe with doubt, you collapse the version where it fails. If you observe with contradiction, wanting but not believing, visualizing but fearing, you collapse a distorted outcome, one that doesn't resemble what you intended. That's why it feels like the universe is ignoring you, but it isn't. It's simply matching your dominant broadcast, even when that broadcast is unconscious. This is why manifestation often feels like a betrayal. You try so hard. You pour in emotional energy, mental focus, spiritual intention, and still nothing. So you begin doubting the process. You start assuming it only works for certain people, or that your timing is off, or that you must be doing something incorrectly. And that belief becomes the next signal. It deepens the incoherence and the cycle repeats itself. But the truth is far more empowering than anything you've heard. Because it's not that manifestation isn't working. It's that it's always working. The field is responding with precision, just not to what you want. It's responding to what you're being every moment without exception. Let's go deeper. Neuroscience shows that 95% of your thoughts and emotional patterns run unconsciously. Meaning you might affirm your desires with 5% of your awareness while broadcasting the opposite with the remaining 95%. That's not minor misalignment. That's a full override. You can't outthink a nervous system locked in survival mode. You can't outjournal a heart tightened in protection. You can't out-visualize a body conditioned to lack. Your entire system must shift. And that begins with recognizing the paradox. Desire alone is not enough, because desire without coherence produces confusion in the field. Now here's the part most people never reveal. You don't manifest what you want, because wanting is already a vibration of not having. You manifest what you embody, because embodiment is the frequency of possession. The universe doesn't interpret your words. It reads your energetic signature. It responds not to your dreams but to your defaults. And your default is shaped not by effort but by your emotional baseline. That's what needs to shift. But not by thinking differently, because thinking isn't enough. Feeling isn't enough. Even belief on its own isn't enough. What is enough is coherence. A state where your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and expectations move in a single vibrational direction. A unified signal. That's when the field responds. Not with hesitation, but with precision. But wait until you see what unfolds when we begin tuning that signal in Chapter 2 and decode what the universe is actually hearing when you think you're asking for more. Picture this. You walk into a room full of radios, each tuned to a different frequency. One plays static, another a love song, another an emergency alert. Now imagine trying to tune into just one, say the love song, while your hand keeps flicking the dial, bouncing between frequencies every few seconds. That is exactly what your energy field becomes when you try to manifest from emotional contradiction. You say you want love, but you're terrified of rejection. You say you want abundance, yet you're checking your bank balance with tension. You say you're ready for the next chapter, but your nervous system is still programmed for mere survival. This creates what we call vibrational dissonance, a gap between your conscious intentions and your subconscious transmission. And the quantum field listens only to unmistakable clarity. Let's be scientific for a moment. In 1991, the discovery of the heart-brain, or the 40,000 neurons contained within the human heart, revealed that our body doesn't simply react to the mind. It emits a coherent electromagnetic signal shaped by our emotional state. The HeartMath Institute demonstrated that the heart's field extends several feet beyond the body and can even influence the energy of others. Now take that further. Your heart isn't merely generating a field. It's functioning as your vibrational transmitter. It's not your spoken words that reach the quantum field. It's your emotional signature. And when your mind says yes but your heart quietly says no, what arrives is static, confusion, a tangled signal that collapses nothing into form. This is why people who practice affirmations, visualizations, and scripting still see no results, because they speak one message from the mind while feeling another in the body. This inner mismatch creates friction in the field. And quantum reality does not respond to friction. It responds to frequency precision. This isn't metaphor or mystical poetry. It's physics. Think of wave interference. Two waves vibrating in sync amplify each other. But if they're misaligned, if they collide, they cancel out, producing empty silence. No broadcast. No collapse. That's what happens every time your energy vibrates yes and no in the same breath. Now here's something most people never consider. The subconscious mind, which governs beliefs and behaviors, constantly loops old emotional data. If you've been hurt, rejected, disappointed, or abandoned, your body stores that pattern. And even when your conscious mind says, "I deserve better," your physiology stays rooted in the past. Joe Dispenza calls this living from the memory of the known. Your body becomes a physical archive of old experiences, and instead of projecting the future, your energy endlessly replays yesterday's frequencies. So even if your words express expansion, your field expresses fear, and the quantum field responds to whichever one is stronger. Let's bring in the spiritual lens. Neville Goddard taught that feeling is the secret, that you must assume the state of the wish fulfilled. But what does that mean practically? It means the field doesn't respond to wishing or pleading. It responds to embodiment. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you become. You must emotionally and physically live in the vibration of already having it, even before there is proof. That isn't delusion. That's alignment. It's how the quantum mirror functions, not by giving you what you crave but by reflecting who you currently are. But here's the issue, and this is where the confusion truly begins. Most people have no idea they're sending contradictory signals to the universe around the clock. One moment you visualize clearly, and the next you scroll social media comparing yourself to others, feeling behind. One moment you meditate in gratitude, the next you argue with yourself about your worthiness. These tiny moments of emotional split create a fractured broadcast. And the quantum field, precise and literal, responds not to your brightest moment but to your most consistent vibration. Now here's the pattern interrupt you weren't expecting. Most of your manifestation attempts are rooted in a single subtle emotion: lack. Even when you say, "I want more money," the emotional undertone is, "because I don't have it." Even when you affirm, "I am loved," the deeper vibration is, "because I feel alone." So what you're actually doing is strengthening the absence of what you want while pretending to be positive. And the universe, unable to separate intention from vibration, delivers more of the lack your energy is quietly broadcasting. Let's use a metaphor that lands deeper. Think of the quantum field like a GPS. You tell it your destination: abundance, love, peace. But if your internal coordinates read fear, scarcity, or not enough, the system becomes disoriented. You cannot reach destination joy if your energetic signal recalibrates to doubt every few minutes. GPS functions by triangulating clear signals from multiple satellites. Your life operates the same way. If your thoughts, emotions, and actions don't triangulate around one coherent vibration, you drift, you loop, you stall, and manifestation becomes an endless road trip without arrival. But there's something even more important. Recent neuroscience shows that emotional states shape perception. Meaning, what you feel determines what you're capable of perceiving. If your emotional baseline is worry, your brain literally filters the world through that vibration. Even when opportunities arrive, you overlook them. Even when synchronicities appear, you dismiss them as random chance. So the quantum field may be delivering, but you're not tuned in enough to recognize or receive it. You become unaware of your own answered prayer. And that, perhaps, is the most heartbreaking form of confusion the universe can reflect back. So what's the solution? The solution isn't to push harder. It's to become quiet enough to hear your true signal and then refine it. To remove the internal noise. To recognize where you're divided inside. Where you want something yet secretly assume you're unworthy of it. Where you call in love but simultaneously shield your heart. Where you ask for abundance but live in mental cycles of fear. Only by bringing these hidden contradictions into awareness can you begin choosing a single frequency. One that is steady, coherent, and unmistakable to the field. In the next chapter, we go even deeper into this process and reveal why the universe is not responding to your wish, but to your observation. And once you notice what you're truly observing most of the time, you'll realize the power was never in the asking, but in the way you are being witnessed by your own awareness. There is something observing you right now. Not a person, not a spirit, but something deeper, your own consciousness. And here's the most astonishing discovery in quantum physics, one that spiritual teachings have echoed for ages. The act of observing alters the result. The double-slit experiment proved this. When particles of light are unobserved, they remain in a wave state, boundless, unshaped, pure possibility. But the moment they are observed, they collapse into particles, into matter, into form, into reality. Now take that principle and apply it not to photons but to your life, your relationships, your finances, your health, your sense of identity. They all exist in superposition, a vast ocean of potential outcomes, until you observe them. But here's the part almost no one explains. You're not observing with your eyes. You're observing with your focus, your expectation, your emotional attention. And wherever that observation settles, you collapse one version of reality and erase every other possibility. This isn't poetic language. It is literal physics. The universe isn't sitting somewhere outside waiting to react. It is interwoven with you, responding to your awareness in every moment. So when you say, "Why does this always happen to me?" that isn't just frustration. It's a command, a collapse point, a vote, a frequency that searches the quantum field for a match, and finds one. Let's slow this down. You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already observing something. Maybe it's worry about money, regret from yesterday, or dread about what's ahead. Those thoughts combined with emotion generate a frequency. That frequency becomes an observation, and that observation begins shaping the day into form, matching the feeling, not the desire. So even if you later affirm abundance, the field already received your first signal, lack. And the field is faithful. It collapses reality according to your most consistent state of observation. It's like this: the universe doesn't listen to your wishes. It mirrors your gaze. Here's a story. There was a young man who wanted to be wealthy. Every morning he would journal, visualize, repeat affirmations. But nothing shifted. In fact, everything seemed to spiral downward. One day during meditation, he caught himself repeating a faint inner sentence. "I'm scared it will never happen." That quiet line, automatic, unseen, emotionally loaded, was his real observation. That was the frequency shaping his reality. His issue was never that he didn't desire abundance. His issue was that he kept observing from a state where abundance didn't exist. And this is exactly where most people become trapped. They believe they're manifesting from desire, but they're actually manifesting from fear. Fear it won't work. Fear of being let down again. Fear of raising their hopes only to watch them collapse. And that fear becomes the actual observer, not the words, not the journal, not the vision board, but the emotion holding the gaze. The field does not react to wishes. It reacts to emotional attention. And attention, especially when infused with feeling, collapses limitless potentials into a single outcome. Let's go deeper. Your subconscious mind, which governs over 90% of your behavior and perception, is endlessly observing. And what it observes most consistently are patterns. That's how it tries to protect you. If you grew up around scarcity, it will observe financial struggle as normal. If you've been betrayed, it will observe mistrust as reality. If you've failed before, it will observe doubt as truth. These observations repeated thousands of times collapse similar realities again and again. Not because you're cursed, but because your inner observer has been conditioned to expect them. But here's the breakthrough. You can retrain the observer to collapse a completely different world. Bruce Lipton demonstrated that genes don't dictate your life. Perception does. And perception is simply trained observation. When you change the lens through which you observe, you alter the chemicals your body releases, the thoughts your brain produces, the emotions your heart radiates, and all of that transforms the frequency you project into the field. Suddenly, the probabilities around you start rearranging. What? Because the observer is no longer synced to the past. It's aligned with the new, and the field adjusts to match. Neville Goddard called this assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It isn't just imagination. It is a shift in the observer. It means you begin emotionally observing your life as if the manifestation has already unfolded. Not because you're trying to manipulate the universe, but because this is the only method that collapses the version where it already exists. Anything less, anything anchored in waiting, hoping, or craving, is an observation of lack. And lack collapses into more lack. Here's the missing puzzle piece most people never uncover. They assume the key is action. But action taken from a fearful observer only recreates the same result. It's not about doing more. It's about becoming the one who observes from the end. The one who enters the room naturally expecting to be chosen. The one who checks the bank app already knowing there will be enough. The one who sees obstacles not as signs of failure but as indicators that breakthrough is already moving. Because when you shift the observer, the world has no choice but to shift its appearance. But you might wonder, what if I don't believe it yet? What if I can't pretend? Here's the truth, you don't have to pretend. You simply have to practice. The observer effect isn't a trick, it's repetition. Every time you redirect your emotional focus from fear to trust, from lack to appreciation, from doubt to inner certainty, you train the observer to collapse a new version of you. And as that version becomes familiar, the field begins mirroring it with increasing precision. So the next time you ask, why isn't it working? Pause. Look at the gaze behind the question because the universe is working perfectly. It's just mirroring the one observing it. And in the next chapter, you'll learn how to recalibrate your entire vibrational system into quantum coherence, and finally become the clear, singular signal the universe has been waiting for. There's a reason your manifestations feel unpredictable, sometimes appearing, sometimes disappearing, sometimes arriving distorted. It's not because the universe is punishing you or testing your worth. It's because your signal isn't steady. You're energetically broadcasting from several frequencies at the same time. And when those currents clash, the field answers not with clarity but with quiet, or worse, with an echo of your inner static. But imagine becoming one clear frequency. Imagine your thoughts, emotions, nervous system, and energetic field all resonating in alignment, a unified wave moving forward with zero resistance. This is what we call quantum coherence, and it's the most potent state a human can access. But to grasp it, you have to understand what's happening beneath the surface. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field more than 60 times stronger than your brain. This field carries not only electrical impulses but emotional data. Every time your heart beats in fear, your field trembles with disorder. Every time it beats with trust, it sends out harmony. And your brain, designed to scan for danger, reads these signals and mirrors them with thoughts. So when the heart is erratic, the mind becomes scattered. When the heart is steady, the mind becomes sharp. This isn't poetic language, this is physiology. And it reveals one truth: emotional coherence creates mental clarity, not the other way around. Let me show you with a story. A man spends years trying to manifest success. He devours books, attends workshops, meditates daily. But inside he's rigid. His body is clenched. His breathing is shallow. His nervous system is constantly bracing. What if it fails? What if I'm not enough? What if everything collapses? These thoughts, subtle and repetitive, sync with sensations: tightness in the chest, unease in the gut. He visualizes abundance with his eyes closed, yet his body is practicing loss. That isn't coherence. That is internal conflict. And conflict never commands the quantum field. Now here's the shift. The body remembers. It stores emotional patterns, old fear, past guilt, unresolved tension. All of it becomes posture, breathing cycles, chemical reactions. And unless those patterns change not just in the mind but throughout the body, the signal cannot become steady. You can repeat affirmations endlessly, but if your physiology is still running yesterday's survival program, you'll unknowingly transmit the past. That's why so many people manifest in loops. They've altered their thoughts but not their state. Quantum coherence means entering a vibrational condition where your body becomes the living evidence of your future. Where your breath, your stance, your feelings, and your inner dialogue sync with one timeline, not theoretically but biologically. The HeartMath Institute calls this heart-brain coherence. It's a measurable state where the heart's rhythm becomes smooth and ordered, sending signals to the brain that guide it into alpha or theta waves, the very frequencies that unlock the subconscious and enhance neuroplasticity. In this state, your immune system grows stronger, your hormones steady themselves, your perception transforms. But even more powerfully, your energy becomes pure, focused, intentional, and the field, always attentive, starts responding instantly. Think of coherence as tuning a laser. A regular flashlight scatters its glow everywhere. But a laser, same light, same photons, is concentrated, aligned, coherent. That's why it can slice through steel. Now apply that to your manifestation energy. When you're emotionally unfocused, you're the flashlight. But when you're aligned, when your feelings, thoughts, breath, and actions stem from one unified vibration, you become the laser, precise enough to cut through timelines and powerful enough to collapse reality. But how do you access that state? The first step is interrupting your old signals, pausing before your body reacts automatically, noticing your emotions before they hijack your field. Breath is the quickest gateway. 3 slow, deep, deliberate breaths through the nose and out the mouth begin rewiring your autonomic pattern. Then shift attention to your heart, not as an idea but as a sensation. Hand on your chest. Feel it. Then invite one elevated emotion, gratitude, love, or certainty. Not as a performance, as a frequency. You don't need to believe in anything mystical for this to work. The field responds regardless. When you hold that state for even 3 to 5 minutes, your brain waves recalibrate. Your heart rhythm becomes coherent. Your biochemistry starts mirroring the future you're calling in right now. And here is the key. The field does not respond to time. It responds to frequency. If you emotionally feel your dream is distant, that becomes your broadcast. But if you embody the dream, emotionally and energetically, the signal becomes now. And now is the only moment reality collapses. Let's make this brutally clear. You don't attract what you think about. You attract what your nervous system is prepared to allow. If your system is programmed for chaos, it will push away peace even when it shows up. If it's wired for lack, it will overlook abundance. If it anticipates rejection, it will sabotage love. Coherence is the cure. It doesn't just manifest, it restructures your whole system so it can actually hold the new reality without cracking under it. That's why coherence isn't a one-time technique. It's a baseline you install. And here is your point of activation. Type in the comments, I broadcast only one signal now. Let the field receive that clarity. Let your body experience what it feels like to choose one frequency instead of 50. Let your nervous system relax because relaxation is the frequency of receiving. And the more you rest inside alignment, the faster the quantum field collapses timelines that match your inner calm. Not later. No. But coherence isn't the finish line. It's the threshold. In the next chapter, we dive deeper into the exact instant where potential becomes physical, where limitless versions of you exist, and you decide which one to bring into form. This is the jump most people never make. But once you understand how to collapse confusion and step into precision, manifestation stops being random and becomes a deliberate craft. In this very moment, infinite versions of you exist, not symbolically but literally. One version is vibrant and overflowing with energy. Another is trapped in patterns of exhaustion. One is abundantly prosperous. Another is anxious about every bill. One is in love, open, glowing. Another feels unseen, waiting to be chosen. All of them are real. All of them exist simultaneously in the quantum field, not as fantasies but as viable timelines. Because the more you practice this, the more that version becomes your natural default. You're not pretending. You're tuning into it. Here's what unfolds in real time. As you do this, your brain begins reshaping neural pathways around the new identity. Your heart emits a magnetic field that matches elevated emotion. Your cells release signals aligned with your chosen vibration. And your energetic broadcast, the one the field responds to, sharpens. It becomes clear, steady, unmistakable. And that is when the universe answers. You see, the field isn't concerned with time. It doesn't wait for rituals or a certain number of days. It waits for clarity without internal conflict. And the moment that clarity becomes emotionally embodied, not just mentally pictured, the quantum reality surrounding you must reorganize. That's not fantasy. That's coherence applied. But here's the loop you have to close. You cannot collapse a new reality if you're still emotionally attached to the old one. The field responds to your emotional investments, not your verbal declarations. So you must withdraw your energy from suffering, waiting, and one day. You must energetically detach from the identity that delays your transformation. Not because it's wrong, but because it's complete. That timeline has nothing left to offer you. You aren't here to prove your worth through delay. You're here to broadcast precision through presence. So ask yourself right now, not with hope but with authority, which version of me am I choosing to collapse today? Because that version is already transmitting. The only question is whether you will match it or continue tuning into the static of who you used to be. In the next and final chapter, you'll receive a closing frequency, a reminder that your new self isn't a future goal. It's a signal already active. And when you stabilize that signal, you won't chase the manifestation. You become the reality the universe can't ignore. You don't need the universe to catch up, because the version of you you've been pursuing is already broadcasting a vibration, steady, subtle, unwavering. It's the frequency of already fulfilled. The frequency of embodiment, of someone who no longer operates from desire but from identity. And that signal, your future self, isn't distant, hidden, or separate. It's here underneath the static. The real work isn't finding it. The real work is clearing what distorts it. You were never meant to force your world into alignment. You were meant to become the signal that alignment recognizes. That is what quantum manifestation truly means. It's not about pulling something in. It's about emitting the frequency that reality organizes around. And the real question is no longer, how do I get there? The question is, am I steady enough to stay there? Because here's the part no one tells you. The manifestation doesn't always appear like fireworks. Sometimes it arrives as a whisper, a knowing, a quiet calm that wasn't there before, a door cracking open that once felt sealed shut, a message showing up exactly when your energy says, I'm ready. These moments aren't accidents. They're confirmations. The field is always recalculating based on the data of your vibration. And your vibration isn't just what you feel. It's what you've normalized. The universe doesn't hand you what you want. It brings you what feels like home. And for many people, lack has been home. Anxiety has been home. Doubt, survival, proving, chasing, these have been familiar frequencies. So when a higher timeline appears, they unconsciously turn it away. Not because they don't desire it, but because receiving doesn't feel safe. That's the hidden cost of incoherence. You create beautiful things but can't hold on to them. The real shift happens not when you get the thing, but when your nervous system stops bracing at the idea of having it. When abundance no longer feels miraculous but natural. When being chosen in love feels aligned, not lucky. When peace isn't something you try to catch, it's simply your resting point. That's when you know the signal has stabilized. That's when you stop bouncing between timelines. That's when reality begins revealing what it looks like to live as your highest self without resistance. But how do you anchor this new state? How do you turn a moment of coherence into a lifestyle of coherence? You ritualize the frequency. You wake each morning and choose your broadcast. Before the world tells you who to be, you breathe into alignment before touching your phone. You reconnect with the feeling of being the version of you who is already chosen, whole, and complete. You let that version set your posture, your decisions, your rhythm. And when fear whispers, because it will, you acknowledge it but you don't tune into its frequency. You're already tuned to a higher signal. This is mastery, not perfection, but persistent devotion to your chosen vibration. And if this entire journey from understanding the observer effect to collapsing timelines through coherence has taught you anything, let it be this. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You've simply been broadcasting a frequency that no longer aligns with who you're becoming. And now with awareness you get to change the station. Not later. Not when things look better. Now because the field responds instantly, not to effort but to essence. Now if you feel something awakening within you, if a deeper part of you knows you're not here to beg the universe for crumbs but to embody the version of you that shapes worlds, then it's time to go deeper. That's why I want to invite you to the next level of your practice. We've created something special, an immersive guide called Awaken Your Quantum Power, a book designed to transform everything you've learned into a lived, embodied experience. Inside is not just deeper wisdom, but a practical workbook, step-by-step tools to install coherence, collapse new realities, and anchor your frequency into everyday life. This isn't more information. It's integration. So if you're ready to stop trying to manifest and start living from the identity of the new you, check the pinned comment below. Your future self is already calling. It's time to answer your own signal because the universe is no longer confused, and neither are you. You are broadcasting one message and one message only. It is already done.